You don't belong here. Those words weren't just spoken. They echoed through the sterile bank lobby, reverberating off cold marble walls and slamming into Amara's chest like a hammer. The security guard's grip on her arm tightened, as if he was trying to physically hold back the truth she was about to expose. Amara Jones, 28, a sharp, poised African-American bank employee with an unyielding spirit, found herself trapped in the very institution where she worked, accused without cause. The morning had started as any other bustling customers, ringing cash registers, the hum of computers until Marcus Blake, the white security guard with a chip on his shoulder and suspicion in his eyes, decided to detain her without explanation. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead as whispers swirled in the air, eyes darting between Amara's calm defiance and Marcus's rigid authority. Outside the glass doors, the city moved on, oblivious to the injustice unfolding inside. Amara had been working at Jefferson National Bank for 3 years, known for her professionalism and keen attention to detail. Her colleagues respected her, and customers trusted her. But today, those walls offered no sanctuary. Marcus, the security guard, was new hired only a month ago. His glare suggested an unspoken prejudice, a discomfort with Amara's very presence. As he held her at the security desk, his colleagues exchanged uneasy glances, some biting their lips, others averting their eyes. Why was she being detained? No one would say. The only explanation was a whispered suspicion, thinly veiled as a security protocol. Amara's heart pounded, not from fear, but from a fierce resolve. She would not be the victim of baseless suspicion. She was more than a target. She was a professional, a woman with dignity, and today, she would turn the tables. By dawn, the bank's usual rhythm was replaced by something colder: an interrogation room, a one-way mirror, questions laced with doubt. But this time, Amara was no longer the one being questioned. The roles had shifted. Seated across from her, Marcus sat uncomfortably, his earlier confidence stripped away. Amara's gaze was steady, her voice clear and unwavering as she led the interrogation, peeling back layers of bias, forcing accountability. The story that unfolded was more than a personal fight. It was a reflection of systemic injustice, the silent battles fought daily by those judged not by their character, but by the color of their skin. In the end, Amara's strength exposed uncomfortable truths, not just about Marcus, but about the institution itself. And as the sun rose higher, the bank faced a reckoning, a chance to change, to listen, to grow. You don't belong here. Those words sliced through the quiet hum of Jefferson National Bank's morning rush like a cold blade, sharp and unforgiving. Amara Jones stood frozen for a split second, disbelief flooding her chest, before she realized Marcus Blake's hand gripped her arm firmly, preventing her from moving forward. The security guard's eyes were hard, unblinking, carrying a weight far heavier than any security protocol could justify. Amara was not a trespasser, nor was she suspicious. She was an employee, a trusted bank representative. But Marcus's suspicion, rooted in something far darker than reason, was about to turn her world upside down. The morning had begun like any other. Amara arrived early, the sun barely cresting over the city skyline. Her heels clicked confidently against the polished marble floor as she walked toward her desk, greeting the janitor with a warm smile. "Morning, Mr. Allen," she said. He nodded in return, appreciating her kindness. Amara was the lead teller, a position she earned through years of dedication and hard work. Her black hair was pulled back neatly, and she wore a tailored navy blue blazer that matched her determined eyes. Clients respected her professionalism, and colleagues admired her calm under pressure. But today, all of that meant nothing. Marcus Blake was a recent hire, a white man in his mid-30s with a rigid jaw and an air of suspicion that clung to him like a second skin. He wasn't the type to ask questions or listen. He acted first and thought later. As Amara approached the bank's main entrance to start her shift, Marcus's gaze locked onto her with cold intensity. When she passed by, he whispered into his radio, "I'm detaining a suspicious person." Amara's brow furrowed as she turned. "Excuse me," she said calmly. Marcus stepped forward, blocking her path. "You need to come with me." "Why?" she asked, trying to maintain composure. "No questions," Marcus said, voice low but firm. Word spread quickly. Employees glanced nervously, some murmuring in hushed tones. Clients stopped their transactions, eyes darting between Amara and Marcus. The tension in the air thickened. Amara's heart raced not from fear, but from indignation. "I work here," she said. "You're detaining me without cause." Marcus didn't respond, simply signaling for backup. 2 other security guards arrived, their expressions unreadable. The bank manager, Miss Harding, hurried over, eyes wide. "What's going on here?" she demanded. Marcus's voice was clipped. "We have reason to suspect Ms. Jones." Ms. Harding turned to Amara, confusion and concern flickering across her face. "Amara, is this true?" Amara shook her head. "No, I have no idea what this is about." The security office became a holding cell. Marcus sat across from Amara, who remained calm despite the shock and humiliation swirling inside her. "You think I'm a criminal?" Amara asked quietly. Marcus's jaw tightened. "I'm doing my job." "Your job?" Amara's voice hardened. "Your job isn't to assume guilt based on skin color." Marcus's eyes flashed with something like regret, but he said nothing. Hours passed. Amara's phone buzzed with messages from co-workers demanding answers, but the security guards refused to let her contact anyone. She sat back in the stiff chair, folding her hands in her lap, thinking fast. She needed to flip this situation, to hold those accountable for their biases. The next morning, Amara was the one who led the questioning. The bank's conference room was transformed into a makeshift interrogation room, the tables pushed aside and chairs arranged in a tense circle. Marcus was seated, uncomfortable, flanked by 2 senior managers and the head of security. Amara entered, her stride confident, eyes sharp. "I'd like to begin by understanding what prompted my wrongful detention yesterday," she said, voice steady. Marcus swallowed hard. It was a security concern. "Based on what?" Amara pressed. "Was it my behavior? My appearance? Because I assure you, I followed every protocol." A silence settled. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "I have evidence," Amara continued, producing security footage from the bank system. The video clearly showed her moving through the bank in uniform, greeting customers, performing her duties, nothing suspicious. The room watched in stunned silence. Amara didn't stop there. She presented testimonials from co-workers who vouched for her character and professionalism. She quoted statistics on racial profiling in workplaces, highlighting the systemic issue. "This isn't just about me," Amara said firmly. "It's about the prejudices that silently dictate who is deemed trustworthy and who is not." Her voice softened but remained resolute. "We have a responsibility to challenge these biases to ensure this bank is a place of inclusion and respect." The managers exchanged glances. Ms. Harding cleared her throat. "Amara, we are deeply sorry for what happened. We will take steps to address this." But Amara knew words were not enough. "This isn't just an apology," she said. "It's a call to action." She proposed mandatory diversity training for all staff, a review of security protocols to prevent racial profiling, and an anonymous reporting system for discrimination. Her determination inspired others in the room. As the sun climbed higher outside, Amara felt a shift not just in the bank, but within herself. She had been seen as a victim, but she reclaimed her narrative. She was a leader, a catalyst for change, and no unjust hand could hold her back. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the air conditioner and the occasional shuffle of papers. Amara sat across from Marcus Blake, the security guard whose suspicion had led to her wrongful detention the day before. Now, the power dynamics had shifted. She held the floor, and Marcus was on the defensive. "Let me be clear," Amara began, her voice steady yet laced with unmistakable intensity. "Your actions yesterday did more than just inconvenience me. They sent a message to everyone watching that suspicion falls on people like me without reason. That message is dangerous." Marcus looked down at his hands, shame creeping into his expression for the first time. "I was just doing my job," he mumbled. "Doing your job doesn't give you the right to profile or detain employees without evidence," Amara replied. "We need to address the systemic issues that let this kind of behavior go unchecked." The bank's head of security, a man named Gerald, cleared his throat. "We take these allegations very seriously. As of today, Marcus will be suspended pending a full investigation." Marcus's eyes widened. "Wait. No interruptions, Miss Harding," the bank manager said firmly. Amara nodded, feeling the room's energy shift. "This is just the beginning. I want to work with the management to implement training programs that educate staff about implicit bias and establish clear protocols that prevent wrongful detainment. Miss Harding sighed. We will consider your proposals seriously. Amara's gaze softened as she stood. Good. Because change starts with accountability. Later that day, Amara sat at her desk, her hands wrapped around a cup of coffee. The hum of the bank returned the ringing phones, the clacking keyboards, the murmured conversations. But beneath it all was a subtle shift. Her colleagues approached her with new respect and a sense of solidarity. Jamal, a teller who'd worked alongside her for years, leaned in. That was incredible, Amara. You didn't just stand up for yourself, you stood up for all of us. Amara smiled, a genuine warmth in her eyes. We all deserve to be seen for who we are, not judged by assumptions. Across the room, Marcus's absence was noticeable. Some employees whispered about the incident, others avoided eye contact. The atmosphere was tense but hopeful. As the weeks passed, the bank began implementing Amara's recommendations. Diversity training sessions were held, encouraging open dialogue and honest reflection. Anonymous feedback boxes appeared, giving employees a safe space to voice concerns. Amara volunteered to lead some sessions, sharing her experience and encouraging others to share theirs. One afternoon, after a particularly emotional discussion, Amara sat back in her chair, exhausted but hopeful. You're making a real difference, said Miss Harding, who had stopped by. Amara looked up, gratitude shining in her eyes. We all have to. This is about more than me. It's about changing the culture. But change was not without resistance. Some employees grumbled about the new training sessions, calling them unnecessary. Marcus, who had been reinstated after a formal apology, remained distant, avoiding conversations and refusing to attend sensitivity workshops. One day, Amara found him alone in the break room. Marcus, she said gently, we need to talk. He looked up, surprised. About what? About what happened, about how we move forward. Marcus hesitated, then nodded. I want to understand. I want to do better. Amara offered a small smile. That's the first step. They talked for hours, breaking down walls of prejudice and misunderstanding, building bridges where there had been suspicion. Months later, the bank hosted a community event celebrating diversity and inclusion. Amara stood at the podium, addressing a crowd of employees, customers, and local leaders. This journey hasn't been easy, she said, but it has been necessary, because every one of us deserves respect, dignity, and the chance to be seen for who we truly are. The crowd erupted in applause. Amara caught Marcus's eye in the audience. He nodded, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they'd shared. As the event ended, Amara stepped outside into the evening air. The city lights twinkled, a tapestry of possibility and hope. She pulled out her phone and sent a message to Jamal. Change is possible. And for the first time in a long time, Amara felt the weight of the world lift from her shoulders. Because she had turned injustice into empowerment, suspicion into understanding, and silence into a call for justice. Her story was not just hers, it was a beacon for anyone who had ever been judged unfairly. And this was only the beginning. The months following the incident marked a turning point not only for Amara, but for Jefferson National Bank as a whole. The institution that once echoed with whispered prejudices was now stirring with voices demanding change. Amara found herself at the heart of a movement, a wave of employees and community members who refused to tolerate injustice. She had become a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope. Her days were filled with meetings, workshops, and heartfelt conversations. She balanced her role as lead teller with her newfound responsibilities as an advocate for equity. The weight was heavy, but her resolve never faltered. One afternoon, as Amara prepared for a staff training session, her phone buzzed with a message from Marcus. Can we meet? I want to talk. Amara hesitated. The man who had wrongfully detained her now sought dialogue. Could trust be rebuilt? She replied simply, yes. They met at a quiet cafe near the bank, a neutral ground away from the sterile office walls. Marcus looked nervous but earnest. I've spent a lot of time reflecting, he began. I realized how blind I was to my own biases. I hurt you and others, and I'm sorry. Amara studied his face, searching for sincerity. Thank you, she said softly. Apologies are a start, but actions matter more. I want to be part of the change, Marcus said. Will you help me? That conversation marked the beginning of an unlikely alliance. Together, Amara and Marcus developed a comprehensive diversity and inclusion program, drawing from their experiences. Marcus shared insights from security perspectives, while Amara brought her understanding of the challenges faced by marginalized employees. Their collaboration challenged old stereotypes, proving that growth is possible when people listen and learn. Meanwhile, the bank's leadership committed to systemic reforms. A task force was formed, including employees from all backgrounds, charged with reviewing policies, hiring practices, and workplace culture. Amara was a key member. Her proposals led to tangible changes: enhanced bias training, transparent reporting channels, and community outreach initiatives. The bank's image shifted from a place of exclusion to one of empowerment. Yet, progress was not without setbacks. Some clients expressed discomfort with the changes. Some employees resisted new protocols. Amara faced criticism and even hostility. But she drew strength from the support around her, her colleagues who believed in the cause, the community that rallied, and the vision of a just workplace. One evening, after a long day, Amara stood by the bank's large front window, gazing at the city lights. A familiar voice interrupted her thoughts. "Amara." She turned to see Ms. Harding. "I want to thank you," Ms. Harding said, eyes glistening. "Your courage sparked a transformation here. The bank is better because of you." Amara smiled, humbled. "It's not just me," she said. "It's all of us, working together." The city outside was alive with possibility. Amara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Her fight had begun with an unjust accusation, but ended with something far greater: a movement toward justice. On the day of the bank's annual gala, Amara was honored with an award for leadership and community impact. As she took the stage, she looked out at the diverse faces in the audience. "This award isn't just for me," she said. "It belongs to everyone who has stood up against injustice, who has dared to dream of a better future." The applause was thunderous. After the ceremony, Amara found Marcus waiting. He handed her a small envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. "Dear Amara, thank you for showing me what it means to be truly courageous. You taught me about empathy, justice, and the power of change. I'm proud to stand with you. Marcus." Amara's eyes shimmered with tears. She folded the letter carefully, feeling the full circle of their journey. As the night deepened, Amara stepped outside, breathing in the cool air. She looked up at the stars, countless points of light piercing the darkness. Her heart swelled with hope, because even in the face of injustice, kindness and determination could create light. Her story was proof. And in that moment, Amara knew the fight for equality was ongoing, but with each step forward, the world grew brighter. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.